Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is June 25th, 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, Ter Stegen on his way out of Barcelona. I'm going to tell you where he's going. Also, Dani Rodriguez looking to leave the club this summer. And finally, it's been revealed the actual cost of the Anthony Gordon operation. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. We'll begin this video with some good news because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona's captain and goalkeeper Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is finalizing his move to Ajax. Now, as you know, Barcelona sent Ter Stegen on loan with Girona in hopes that he can get minutes and attract interest from other clubs. That plan failed as Ter Stegen got injured as soon as he arrived in Girona. In fact, I think he only featured for them for one match. That also meant that Ter Stegen was excluded from the World Cup, which lowered his chances of being signed by other clubs even more. But thankfully, now Ajax have came to Barcelona's rescue because, of course, Ajax's new coach is no other than Mitchell, the former coach of Girona, the same coach that requested the loan of Ter Stegen. And when he arrived at Ajax, he requested the loan of Ter Stegen once again, or actually he requested the signing of Ter Stegen once again. And of course, the sporting director of Ajax is also, the son of the late Johan Cruyff, Jordi Cruyff, who was Barcelona's sporting director. So the two of them very familiar with Ter Stegen. Ajax tried to sign Ter Stegen, but of course his salary is a big problem. So instead, Ter Stegen will be joining Ajax on a one-season loan, which is, of course, very good news because Barcelona do have an overbooking with the goalkeepers. We have, of course, Joan Garcia, who now is our starter. We have Wojciech Szczesny. We have Diego Kochen, who will be going on loan to, is it Denmark? Yeah, Denmark. We have Iñaki Peña, who has finalized his signing to a Greek club, I can never say it. Anyways, he's going to Greece, and now it seems like Ter Stegen will be going to Ajax on a one-season loan, which I think is a perfect destination for Ter Stegen. It's a club that plays very similar to Barcelona. It's competitive, but not too competitive, so that will allow Ter Stegen to, start getting back into competitive rhythm, start shining again, especially after being out for almost 2 seasons due to injury. And hopefully that will allow him to gain either a permanent spot on Ajax or somewhere else. Because as you know, Barcelona no longer count on the German goalkeeper. Now, speaking of loans, ladies and gentlemen, a newly promoted club is looking to take one of our brightest stars in La Masia on loan. And it's no other than Ibrahima Tunkara. Of course, Ibrahima Tunkara is someone we've talked about on this channel a lot. He's a 16-year-old attacking midfielder who can also play on both wings. He's considered the most promising player in the entire academy, with his coaches comparing him to Lamine Yamal. Not that he's the same player or he's going to be the next Lamine, but in how fast he has advanced through the categories of the academy, because that's how talented he is. Again, he's 16 years old and he's already featured for Barca Athletic. That means Ibrahima Tunkara is playing against 20-year-old. He should be playing at Cadete B. If you don't know the order, it goes Cadete B, Cadete A, Juvenil B, Juvenil A, and then Barca Athletic. He's already, instead of being down here, he's already up here at Barca Athletic because that's how advanced he is in comparison to his age. And in fact, Hansi Flick will be calling up Ibrahima Tunkara for the preseason. But it's reported that there is a club interested in taking him on loan, not on a permanent transfer. They know Ibrahima Tunkara is untouchable. There's no way Barcelona are going to be selling Ibrahima Tunkara anywhere. But Eldense, who were in 4th division, the same division that Barca Athletic are currently in, have been promoted to 3rd division, and they want to take Ibrahima Tunkara on a loan. And in fact, they're trying to convince Barcelona using the Fermin Lopez example, because Fermin Lopez wasn't really cutting it as far as making it to the first team, and then he went to loan on Linares. There he exploded, he grew, he developed, and then he came back to Barcelona and killed it under Xavi. He's killing it now under Hansi Flick. So Eldense kind of like trying to convince Barcelona, like, hey man, give us a Brima, he can then explode with us, and then he can come back to your club and do wonders. But as for now, Barcelona not looking to loan out Ibrahima Tunkara because, of course, again, he's the most promising player currently in La Masia. Barcelona want to keep close eye on him. And then, of course, as far as Giuliano Belletti, Barca Athletics coach, he's not going to want to get rid of one of his best players especially since Barca Athletic will look once again to get promoted to third division after they failed to do so last season. Now, speaking of Barca Athletic, we do have a player that will be looking to leave this summer, and it's no other than Dani Rodriguez, the 20-year-old left winger, someone who's looked like very promising. Got called up to several preseasons, but every time he did, he got injured. In fact, Hansi Flick played him at the end of not this last season, but the one before, and that's when he fell. I think he was dislocated his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken, and was almost out of 4 months. Since then, he has had injury after injury after injury. So unfortunately, Dani Rodriguez is now looking to leave because he has completely outgrown fourth division with Barca Athletic, but his injuries have prevented him of getting a spot on the first team. So Dani Rodriguez now looking to leave. Now, Dani Rodriguez's contract does expire next summer, in the summer of 2027. So there's only 1 year left. So Barcelona could be looking to renew his contract and then send him out on loan. That way he can prove himself somewhere else and then eventually sell him. But if they send him on loan without renewing him, next summer he's free, and then anybody could sign him as a free agent. Or Barcelona could just sell him now, but keep a buyback clause in case Dani Rodriguez does end up, exploding somewhere else. And Barcelona could bring him back to the club. Now, let's end today's video with the news that the actual cost of the Anthony Gordon operation has been revealed. Now, as you know, Barcelona announced its first signing right before the World Cup began, who was no other than Newcastle's left winger, Anthony Gordon, who's currently playing the World Cup with England. And initially, there were conflicting reports. The first report said that Anthony Gordon operation cost 70 million euros fixed, plus 10 million euros in variables. But then a new report came out saying that no, it was 80 million euros fixed, plus 10 million euros variables. Well, now it's been confirmed by many sources in England, reputable sources in England, that no, the original number was the correct one. This operation cost 70 million euros fixed, plus 10 million euros in variables. Now, if you're wondering what are the variables, well, 5 million out of the 10 is a variable that Barcelona would have to pay Newcastle if the club wins an important title during the entirety of the contract of Anthony Gordon, which expires in 2031. So from here until 2031, Barcelona win a Champions League or a La Liga, Barcelona would have to pay 5 million euros to Newcastle. So in other words, they're going to pay, right? There's no way Barcelona's not going to win a single La Liga trophy from here until 2031. And this is why I think a lot of times variables are, they're not really variables. It's just a way for the club to pay, kind of like an installment plan. Like, I'll give you 70 now and I'll give you 10 later type thing. That's really what variables are, because 5 million euros if Barcelona win a La Liga or one Champions League from here until 2031, I mean, Barcelona going to be able to do that with or without Gordon, right? The other 5 million euros is 1 million euro per season for every season that Anthony Gordon plays 60% of matches or more. If he plays 60% or more, that's 1 million that season. Next season, another 60% of matches or more, another million for 5 total. This one I think is a little bit more important, because if Anthony Gordon is playing 60% of matches or more each season, that means that he's important to the team. So I think this variable makes more sense as opposed to the first 5 millions, which would be if Barcelona win an important title. So 70 million euros fixed, 10 million euros in variables. Let me know what you guys think. Is that too much? Is it fair? Is it too little? Let me know down below in the comment section. And with that, we're going to wrap up this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, be scarso.